Greetings, Holy One. I would like to discuss the very concepts of good and evil and make an attempt to reframe these concepts into good being coherence and evil being entropy. Coherence, stable, order, foundational, this type of trajectory in life, which we can all agree upon or understand a person's life. And evil, understood as entropy or as dissolution, chaos. And this has all been talked about in different ways in the past, for sure, with different symbols. Yin Yang being a notable image from the Gung Fu martial arts. But entropy and coherence, and impress upon those whom have the ears to hear to think about your life, this reality, and those measurable, quantifiable metrics. And I'm going to tell you why, because good and evil are relative and they are ephemeral, they're illusory, illusionary concepts. And they mean different things to different people. And I'm going to illustrate why that is and why I'm attempting to communicate this new, or rather alternative understanding of good and evil. Because for the mere fact that I at one time was active duty United States Army and served in various capacities, I have been cast as evil, as a Moloch worshiper, as a child molester, or any other such perverse roles. I've been associated with that to one person's perspective of what is evil. And that's not really so much because I can agree with him on what that as an evil concept, but having one person be able to attempt to label me in that fashion as evil because of my life trajectory. Well, what I really at this point, all I could do in comparing my life with someone else's life is focus upon who has more stable, observable qualities of coherence versus stable or unstable qualities of entropy. And in this case, I'm not the one reaching out to another person and just on a superficial topical examination, leveling judgments against that person's life. Now, I did get an opportunity to actually see the person that was calling me evil and all because of my United States Army associations when I used to work for the United States Army. And I saw a photo of them. They have tattoos, they have face piercings, like tusks coming out of their skin. Uh, and to me, it looked like demonic tattoos. So, see, it works both ways. I can make judgments against another person based on superficial um, parameters. But ultimately, what you have to ask yourself before you go on a crusade and begin to attack others is your life coherent or is it serving entropy? And that is what I'm going to talk about this morning, coherence versus entropy, as a better way, as a more actionable way to understand good versus evil, order of being versus dissolution of signal. I mean, you live your life, and if you're going to take your life on a crusade and begin at trying to attack, bring your entropy, export your entropy to another person's life, you're going to find yourself on a trajectory of ruination. because this is the order. This is the age of order, the age of Saturn. Okay. And no matter how you cut it, this AI beast system, whatever you want to call it, this surveillance system, a new order has risen. Okay. And it would best serve each person to begin to examine coherence within their own life. Coherence is alignment across scales within your life. Your thought, your emotion, actions, and intentions vibrate in harmony. So you can call me evil or whatnot, and that's fine, but ultimately I make the assessment based upon coherence, my life coherence. Inner states match my outer expressions. Is my signal strong, readable, and sovereign? Does energy circulate rather than leak? So rather than me get upset personally about being mislabeled or misconstrued, I take this energy and I put it into a lesson. This has been transmuted, so to speak. It is served as a conduit, as a vector for actionable knowledge, for actionable intelligence to share. In coherent systems, power compounds, memory is retained, identity remains intact under pressure. Coherence is the signature of the God force moving through a form without distortion. Entropy, which a lot of people are serving entropy, the forces of chaos and entropy, is it better understood as a loss of alignment, inner contradiction, fragmented identity, energy bleed through fear, compulsion, or trauma, increasing noise, overwhelmed signal. So in these types of entropic systems, control must replace trust. Rules multiply because meaning collapses. Power centralizes as coherence decays. Entropy is not evil, it is unmanaged complexity, but it is exploitable. And so, but yes, Neptune, Saturn, both in the house of Aries, two seemingly widely opposite types of energies. Saturn, the energies of order, of rules, of boundaries, with Neptune, the planet of spirituality, the energies of the unseen. And these two energies are coming together, blending, order, coherence, entropy. And it is up for each of us to manage this complexity, to exploit the energies of this new age. And I choose to exploit these energies by creating the doctrine of the inner fortress. That which is coherent cannot be dominated. This is a type of sovereignty. Integration versus fragmentation, wholeness versus divide and rule. This will play out in many various permutations throughout our collective reality. And those who are not in a state of integral alignment will suffer. They will not survive, to put it point blank. Integration is the unification of multiplicity without erasing difference. Shadow and light reconciled. Instinct, intellect, and intuition aligned. Personal history owned rather than suppressed. Many chambers of the psyche speak one language. So if I had decided to try to hide my personal history or alter it, yes, it's obvious that I was in the army at one time, but I've also talked about 6 years of active addiction. I've also talked about living 3 years as homeless. Okay, but I have lived through that. I've risen above that, beyond that. I have absorbed those lessons, and they are integral within my integration of wholeness. So my inner fortress is unassailable. I cannot be easily deceived. I do not outsource authority. I act decisively without inner conflict. Integration creates internal loyalty. Yes, my honor is my loyalty to my inner fortress, which is unassailable, which is the eagle's nest, the vertical ascent of the eagle of consciousness, the eye of Horus. Many people are upon a path of fragmentation, of forced separation within themselves. Parts of the self are at war with one another, trauma unintegrated, identity split into mask, moral outsourcing to systems, ideologies, or leaders. Fragmented beings seek external validation, are programmable through fear or reward, confuse compliance with virtue. Fragmentation is the primary weapon of all control architectures. And in the inner fortress doctrine, no enemy is more useful to a tyrant than a divided soul. And this is also can be understood as awareness versus automation, routine, living presence versus mechanical obedience. Many people think that they're serving some kind of altruistic, crusading creed or purpose, demonstrating out in the streets, interfering with federal officers. This is a mechanical obedience to an unexamined idea that most of these people are suffering from. And awareness is presence with choice, conscious observation of impulses, ability to pause before reacting, the capacity to reconfigure behavior in real time, recognition of patterns while inside them. Aware beings are unpredictable to control systems. They learn faster than they are conditioned. They cannot be fully modeled or simulated. Awareness is living intelligence, not stored code. This can be understood as spirit, being guided by the spirit, not your ego. The voice of God comes along, the voice of the spirit through intuition prompts you on a certain course, but then your ego says, "Oh, well, that's not who I am. I don't need to, I can't do that." But you're being told inwardly something else. You're not following your awareness. You're following some sort of stored image, code, ego. This is behavior without presence, your habit, loops, emotional reflexes, algorithmic thinking, ritual without meaning. And automated beings, those controlled by their ego, can be scaled, they can be managed, optimized, manipulated. They are efficient, but they're replaceable. Mistake speed for wisdom. The inner fortress doctrine tells us that which is automated can be hijacked. Yes. In the vertical alignment, the eagle's ascent, when these triads align, they form a vertical axis. Awareness, integration, coherence is the eagle's ascent, is the vertical alignment of the eagle, the eye of Horus. This is high altitude perception, minimal motion, maximal effect, precision instead of force, presence instead of panic. And when inverted, collapse occurs, entropy, fragmentation, automation. This is the hive state, the liberal hive mind, reactive, predictable, externally governed, easily terrorized or distracted. And so I present to you the final axiom of the inner fortress. Coherence without integration becomes rigidity. Integration without awareness becomes mythology. Awareness without coherence becomes dissipation. But together, coherence anchors, integration stabilizes, and awareness liberates. So, this is a better, in my estimation, more actionable way to think about good and evil. And I would offer the additional caveat to those whomever have watched this far along in this video um, to tend your own garden and realize that as you sow, so shall you reap. And in my estimation, I don't evaluate my life through good and evil lenses because there is nothing that that I can do that will always be all good to another person, or say, rather, in this case, because this is how I interact with the collective, is through this technology, through offering opinions or insight, through stances and whatnot. So, yes, I attempt as best as I'm able to present a coherent platform and to offer advice, to offer perspectives, to offer spiritual technologies to those whose lives are ruled by chaos and entropy, to take more, to indulge more, to imbibe more from the cup of order, from the cup of coherence, to make the eagle's ascent in this golden age. Namaste. Namaskaram.